The Voice Australia finalist returns home for first ever concert. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. I hope everyone is having a nice day before we begin the video. Please subscribe and give the video a thumbs up. Jadin Randell Tinyanai, who gained national headlines following her runner-up placing in last year's The Voice Australia, has returned to Hamilton for her first concert, Kanga Hoshia. The former Hamilton Girls High School head girl stole hearts on both sides of the ditch with her second-place placing in the hit show, with Ruben de Mello taking out the top prize. She has returned to Aotearoa with 2 shows that speak to her connection to her whenua. She says the name, Kanga Hoshia, has special meaning to her. How the name kind of came about is, I wanted to do a couple of shows, kind of like a homecoming. I haven't done any shows here in Aotearoa where I've headlined. And, yeah, Kanga Hoshia just came about because I wanted to come home. I'm doing 2 shows in 2 places that I've called home before. The first show, which kicks off on Friday night at Waikato University, is followed by a second Wellington show. While a relative unknown to Australian audiences and many from Aotearoa, she has many starring roles to her name, in particular starring as the voice of Moana in the Disney Rio Maori adaptation. But headlining is a new vibe for the singer. In the lead-up, especially in the first 24 hours, there's so many random things I do. Making sure I'm not drinking cold water, making sure I'm drinking enough water. On the day off, I've just been making sure everything's all good to go. My dresses are steamed, my bag is packed, my kai and my snacks are all ready. A chance to return home to celebrate her Maritanga Randell says that while she's home for work, she's also looking forward to catching up on a few big hui coming up. The singer, who now lives in Melbourne, is making the most of her time back in Aotearoa. I have quite a lot of songs now in my portfolio that I feel ready and happy to release, so in the next coming months I'm hoping to be releasing some waiata. I want to make sure I'm home for the Korone Hana. Just anything that I can, any kind of opportunity that I can kind of grab, I will. After weeks of dazzling performances, tearful goodbyes, and nationwide support, one of The Voice Australia's most talked about finalists has finally returned home. And this time, not just as a contestant, but as a rising star ready to take the stage solo. The young artist, whose emotional journey on the show captured hearts across the country, made a triumphant homecoming this week with their very first solo concert, marking the beginning of a new chapter not just in their career, but in their entire life. Fans who followed the roller coaster of The Voice Australia this season already know the story well. From the very first blind audition, where all 4 chairs turned in record time, to the finale that left audiences on the edge of their seats, this finalist has been one of the most compelling voices of the season. What began as a dream on a national stage is now becoming a reality rooted deeply in the artist's hometown, where it all started. The moment the singer stepped off the plane and into the arms of waiting family, friends, and fans, it was clear this homecoming was no ordinary return. Banners were waved, homemade signs filled the airport arrivals area, and tears flowed freely as hugs were exchanged. For those who've known the artist since childhood, it was an emotional full-circle moment. And for the finalist, it was grounding, a return to the roots that shaped the voice the country fell in love with. But the most anticipated moment of the homecoming came the following night, when the artist took the stage for their first ever solo concert at a packed local venue that had sold out within hours of tickets going on sale. Fans traveled from neighboring towns, some even flying in from different states, just to witness the next step in a story that had started on television, but now felt intimately real. The concert venue, normally a modest community theater, had been transformed into a full-scale showcase, complete with dazzling lights, personalized banners, and an electric buzz in the air. Local businesses had rallied to support the event, offering food trucks, merchandise tables, and a community celebration that turned the entire downtown area into a festival of sound and pride. It was more than a concert. It was a love letter from a community to its favorite voice. As the lights dimmed and the opening chords played, The audience erupted in cheers. And then, the singer appeared, not as a contestant fighting for votes, but as a confident artist ready to claim the stage, with a setlist that included original songs, fan-favorite covers from The Voice, and a surprise duet with a childhood music teacher. The concert became a deeply emotional, joy-filled event that blurred the lines between performance and personal celebration. Each song carried a different weight. There was the cover that first wowed the judges, reimagined now with added power and maturity. There was the tear-jerking ballad sung during the semifinals that had gone viral and sparked thousands of messages from fans who said it had touched their lives. And then there was the new original track, written in the hotel room during a quiet moment between the Voice tapings, performed for the very first time to a spellbound crowd that listened as if hearing history unfold. But it wasn't just the music that left the audience breathless. It was the vulnerability, the heartfelt stories between songs, where the singer opened up about the journey, the pressure, the fear of not being good enough, and the moment when everything changed, when a coach turned their chair, when a family member cried in the front row, when a country started to pay attention. The crowd stood for almost every song, clapping in rhythm, singing along, sometimes breaking into spontaneous applause mid-performance. There were tears, of course, from longtime fans and new ones alike. From parents clutching tissues to children holding handmade signs. There was a sense of unity, of witnessing something deeply personal and deeply important. Perhaps one of the most powerful moments of the night came when the artist paused to thank the community for their unwavering support. With a voice trembling with emotion, they looked out into the sea of familiar and new faces and said, "This isn't just my story. This is our story. Every note I sing carries a piece of home with it." The crowd erupted, not in noise, but in feeling. The kind of shared experience that transcends lyrics and lights. The concert ended with a standing ovation, the kind that doesn't stop when the lights come on, the kind that lingers, the kind that means something. As the artist bowed and waved one last time, the energy in the room didn't fade. It burned brighter, a promise of what's still to come. In the hours that followed, social media exploded with photos, videos, and messages of awe. Local newspapers declared the night historic. Regional news outlets featured interviews with concertgoers who described the performance as magical, transformative, and unforgettable. National entertainment platforms began picking up the story, intrigued by the momentum of a finalist who was quickly becoming more than a TV success. They were becoming a movement. Industry professionals watching from a distance took notice too. According to a source close to the production team of The Voice, several major record labels had already reached out following the show's finale. But this concert may have sealed the deal for an official signing. One executive was quoted anonymously saying, "This artist has what you can't teach. They don't just perform. They connect. That's the mark of a star." In the days following the performance, the artist remained humble but hopeful. They shared a simple message online. "I came home with a dream and left the stage with a purpose. Thank you for believing in me when I was still learning to believe in myself." The post was flooded with comments, shares, and messages from fans around the world who had been touched by the authenticity and soul of the journey. Plans are already in motion for a debut EP, and whispers of a national tour are circulating. But for now, the artist is taking a moment to breathe, reflect, and soak in what just happened. A moment that felt bigger than any stage they've ever stood on. A moment where home and hope met under the lights, and where music became more than melody. It became memory. This finalist's return home wasn't just a concert. It was a celebration of resilience, a showcase of rising talent, and a promise of what lies ahead. It proved that sometimes the biggest moments don't happen in stadiums or studios. Sometimes they happen in the very place you started. And when the lights go down and the final note fades, what remains isn't just applause. It belongs, it's love. It's the beginning of something extraordinary. And so, the voice that once echoed through televisions across Australia now echoes through hearts in a hometown forever changed, forever proud, and forever ready to follow their star wherever the music leads. Thanks for watching this video. And please subscribe to our American Idol YouTube channel for more updated news.